Today, we're going to tackle that feeling of being completely overwhelmed. You know, when your mind just won't shut off. We're going to dive into a scientifically proven way to quiet all that noise, find some serious focus, and maybe even tap into your best performance ever.
You know the feeling, right? That constant hum of thoughts, the to-do list that never seems to get shorter, the notifications just pulling you in a million different directions. It's like your brain is a web browser with 50 tabs open, and they're all playing audio at once. So how in the world do we start closing them?
The goal, really, is this state called mindfulness, just being totally present right here, right now. And as this quote says, it's a huge help for stress and distraction. But let's be real. Telling yourself to just be present is, well, it's way easier said than done, isn't it?
Okay, so let's get practical. Let's find a real solution. Turns out, science has actually been digging into this exact problem for a long, long time.
Think about a time when you were so lost in an activity that hours felt like minutes and the rest of the world just disappeared. That wasn't just a fluke. That's a very specific, very powerful psychological state, and it's called flow.
So what is this flow state? Let's break down what it really means to be in the zone.
The researcher who literally wrote the book on this, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, defined it just like this. It's that sweet spot where you are so completely absorbed, your concentration is total, and whatever you're doing feels almost effortless. And the result? You're not just enjoying yourself, you are performing at your absolute peak.
Now this is where we get to see how the magic actually happens. Because flow isn't just some vague feeling. It's a combination of these specific ingredients working together. You need a task that's challenging but not impossible. You need clear goals, and you need to know right away how you're doing. It's when you feel completely in control and totally effortlessly involved.
This all sounds fantastic, but what's actually going on up there in our brains when we hit that flow state? Let's take a look at the neuroscience. It's pretty cool. So this is the absolute key. It all comes down to this perfect balance. The task has to be hard enough to really grab your attention, but not so hard that you get stressed out. And your skills have to be sharp enough to meet that challenge, but not so sharp that you get bored. That balance, that's the trigger.
This here was the first attempt to really map it out. I want you to picture it like a river. On one side, you've got boredom. That's when your skills are way higher than the challenge. On the other side, you've got anxiety. The challenge is just too much for your current skills. Flow is that perfect, smooth channel right down the middle.
Then, the theory got a little more specific. Scientists realized, you know what? It's not just about balance at any old level. To get that true deep flow state, both the challenge and your skill level have to be high. You have to be stretched, and you have to be capable of rising to the occasion. And this model, this one really paints the full picture. It's brilliant. It breaks everything down into 8 different states of mind. You can see how different mixes of challenge and skill can lead to worry, or relaxation, or even apathy. But look up there, top right corner. Where high challenge meets high skill, that is the zone. That's flow.
So what's the brain actually doing? Well, a leading theory has this super technical name, Transient Hypofrontality. Yeah, I know, it's a mouthful. But the idea is actually really simple. Hypo means less, and frontality refers to the prefrontal cortex. Think of it as the part of your brain that overthinks everything. It's your inner critic, your worrier. In a flow state, that part of the brain just temporarily powers down. Your inner critic finally goes quiet.
And the secret to getting into this amazing brain state is just intense, single-minded focus on one thing. And you can find that focus in some pretty surprising places.
So, the big question is there a shortcut, a hack to trigger this powerful state whenever we want? Well, the answer might be a lot simpler than you think. Yep, a word search puzzle. I know, it seems almost too simple, right? But it's basically a perfect little machine for creating focus. You have one job and one job only. Find the words. Everything else just fades away. So why do they work so well? Well, check out this list. It lines up perfectly with all those components of flow we just talked about. The goal is crystal clear. The challenge is perfectly balanced. And you get immediate feedback, that little rush every single time you find a word. It forces you into the present moment, and all that internal chatter just gets quiet.
And hey, it's not just word searches. The exact same thing happens with mazes, Sudoku, crossword puzzles, you name it. Any puzzle that really demands your full attention. They're basically mindfulness exercises disguised as fun little games.
Now, the really great news is that flow isn't some rare, mystical state. Puzzles are just one tool.
you can actually build a whole toolkit of things to help you find it every single day.
All right, let's run through a few quick and powerful ways to get there. First up, exercise. And according to WebMD, you don't have to go run a marathon. Just 5 minutes of getting your heart rate up is enough to start releasing endorphins, those awesome feel-good chemicals that boost your focus and your mood.
Next up, music. But here's the trick. Not just as background noise. Actively listen to it. Focus on the melody, the instruments, the rhythm. When you do that, it's been shown to actually calm down the activity in your amygdala. That's your brain's fear and anxiety center.
Getting outside, that's another huge one. Just being in nature lets your brain take a break from the constant focus modern life demands. There was even a study that found a simple 20-minute walk in a park improved concentration in kids with ADHD.
And finally, here's a really beautiful one that might surprise you. Help somebody else. Seriously, doing something kind for another person literally lights up the reward centers in your brain. It lowers your stress and makes you feel more connected. It's a way to quiet your own mind by focusing on someone else for a change.
So there you have it. The science is pretty clear. That feeling of focused, effortless calm isn't some random accident. It is a skill, and it's a skill you can train. You now know the models, the neuroscience, and you have a whole toolkit of simple ways to get there. The only question left is, where is finding your flow going to take you?